Cayman Islands, Radio Cayman.
Shining down from above.
We love our listeners.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
And now,
The Business Buzz.
the Business Buzz, an insightful and fresh take on a variety of issues that impact the local business environment. This is where we address the business topics that matter.
Radio Cayman's Business Buzz.
Here's your host, Sabrina Turner.
Good morning, Cayman, and welcome to Radio Cayman's Business Buzz. I'm your host, Sabrina Turner. The Business Buzz is proudly sponsored by Cayman Medical Supplies and Cayman Insurance Center. I am pleased this morning to put the spotlight and hear more about Caribbean filtration. We are happy to have in studio with me founder and director, Mr. Alex Dilbert, and he's joined by business manager, Miss Diana Dilbert. Good morning and welcome to our show.
Good morning, Sabrina.
Good morning.
Now we need to hear exactly what is Caribbean filtration Cayman Islands, and tell us about the product and what is it all about?
Well, I own a company called Eco House, and we introduced a new company called Caribbean Filtration, and it's all about manufacturing pleated air filters on island, and supplying it to all our customers throughout the island.
How did the company come about? How did it get started? What prompted you to embark on this venture?
Well, ever since I was a kid, I've always been somewhat a fixer-upper. I always wanted by heart to be some sort of tradesman. So I formed the company Eco House, and it's an air conditioning and spray foam company. And as the years went by, I realized we changed quite a bit of filters, and I was wondering why we have to ship these products in when they're really bulky, they're very fragile, and it takes up a lot of space in a container. So I just got the idea of the island is ever growing, and I think it's time to start considering manufacturing these things to save on shipping. And also improving the quality of these products, because sometimes you get these things and they're, even though they come from a reputable company in the States, they're not always quality, they're more quantity. So I thought I could improve that myself.
So your filters are actually manufactured local?
Everything from laminating to pleating to trimming. We make a variety of different sizes, all the common sizes, even custom-made sizes. All that can be done here on island without having to wait weeks for orders to come through and stuff. Yeah.
So how viable is local manufacturing here on island, and the kind of flexibility that comes with that?
Well, like I elaborated before, it's definitely helps with shipping costs. I mean, fuel prices are going up every year, being on a small island, sometimes it makes it even more difficult when it comes to the weather and everything. It could impact time frame. So I think I got most of my influence from my brother Nelson, who owns Cayman Spirits. He manufactures rum and on island, and so I just thought, if he can do it, I'm sure I can do it. So
it's obviously in your blood.
Yes.
Yeah, and Nelson actually is next door to our warehouse. And initially, Alex, I think, forgot to mention when he started Eco House 5 years ago, when he built the factory, he already had the space for the Caribbean filtration. So this idea was born 5 years ago, but it took him almost 2.5 years, going to multiple trade shows, doing the thorough research about the product, about all the advanced equipment necessary for the business. So it has taken us a little bit longer than we thought, but we really got us to the stage where we can guarantee that we have the best product.
Now, what type of air filters is best, let's say, for HVAC?
Well, the most popular, and I think the best in my eyes, is pleated air filters. Those are the ones you usually find throughout Cayman, which is what I do. And they're ever changing. They have a variety of different MERV ratings, which is the minimum efficiency ratio value, which is what it stands for. And what it does, it just measures it from 1 to 16, 1 being the lowest, 16 being the highest rated filter. And we carry from 8 up to 11, which is usually standard and what you find in most households. So, we
Does a higher rating allow better airflow? How does it work? I mean, some people would look at it not understanding the industry and say a filter is a filter.
Yes. So, I mean, the higher the rating, obviously, there is the smaller the pores in the filter. So, like
it just won't keep circulating, I guess.
Exactly. So, MERV 8 is usually common in most houses. It's great for filtering, the small dust that circulates through your house, skin dander, pet hair, and it's fairly affordable. And then we go all the way up to MERV 11, which people with allergies usually buy. It's great for MERV 11s are great for office buildings because, as you know, there's just one big air conditioning, and people are either sick next door, or you don't want them sneezing, and airborne bacteria circling through their vents into your office and getting you sick. So, and there's just so much other products out there, everything from electrostatic to adhesive coated filters. So there's just the market is huge, and I'm tapping in. I'm always updating myself on the newest products that are coming out. I always attend a lot of shows, so I'm always on top of everything that's coming out.
Which leads to this: how often should filters be changed then in homes or even businesses alike? How often should they be changed?
Well, I guess it depends with
the rating.
Not just the rating, but the customer itself, the house. Is it being like, for example, I have a dog, and it's a golden doodle. It's a big fluffy dog. It has very dry fur. So when it comes into my house after playing outside, it shakes itself and dust gets everywhere.
Right.
So people with pets, usually between every month to 2 months, their filters get dirty, versus my mother, for example. She is an advocate for cleaning. She has her floors polished and sparkly. So, her filters last up to, even 6 months. Right. So it depends on the foot traffic.
But industry standard, we recommend to do it every 3 months.
3?
So that's just industry standard.
And I just want to elaborate this. I mean, changing your filters is crucial, but also maintaining your system. And I'm not here to say that just changing your filters is good enough. I mean, you should be getting your AC serviced every 3 months as well. Anyhow. So my goal is if you have a AC company out there that you're using, even if it's not EcoHouse, which is my sister company, my goal is not to take away you from your current provider. I'm just here to provide the filters for commercial, for air conditioning companies, for residential, but it's just very important to service your AC as well.
Well, we're very grateful actually that other air conditioning companies are already buying filters from us as well. So we're working as a team, because as Alex previously mentioned, it's hard to get certain sizes. So for example, there are certain standard sizes available at Kirkstone Center or maybe L. Thompson. We offer not just the standard size, but also the custom sizes, the half-inch sizes, which we can manufacture and make with like a day or two turnaround in our warehouse, which has been a great hit. So I think we went live about a month ago. We approached all the big commercial businesses, and they were very happy and pleased to hear about that. And obviously now, as the other air conditioning companies, coming on board as well, so as the residential homeowners.
You're in tune to Radio Cayman's Business Buzz, that is proudly sponsored by Cayman Medical Supplies and Cayman Insurance Center. In this first segment, I'm pleased to put the spotlight and hear more about Caribbean filtration. In studio with me is Mr. Alex Dilbert and Miss Diana Dilbert. We'll take a break. When we come back, more from Caribbean filtration.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, sponsored by Cayman National Bank. Visit Cayman National Bank today for all of your financial needs. The Cayman Islands, he hath founded it upon the seas.
Over a century ago, the unique industry of barking earned some residents double the daily wages. Barking was no easy task and involved trekking through marshy grounds along the North Sound and stripping the bark from the red mangroves along the coastline. The mangrove trees would die after being debarked, and the bark was exported for use in dyes and tanning leather after being weighed and dried. The laborers were commonly referred to as barking fools for enduring the difficult task, along with battling droves of mosquitoes and doing so without the use of shoes and gloves.
Radio Cayman's historical facts vignettes are proudly brought to you by Cayman National, with branches on all 3 Cayman Islands. Visit Cayman National Bank today for all of your financial needs.
Oh gosh.
Don't let the stress of taking care of loved ones get you down.
Home care, now made easier with Cayman Medical Supplies. 100% Caymanian owned. Cayman Medical Supplies now stocks a wide range of home care supplies. Hospital beds, all types of wheelchairs, including beach access wheelchairs, lifts, commodes, shower chairs, walkers, Curad brand orthopedic supplies. Free blood glucose monitors with the purchase of 1 pack of test strips, blue underpads, and a whole lot more.
Need home care convenience? Drop by Cayman Medical Supplies at 93 Smith Road, Windward Center, or call 949-6211. Free delivery.
Don't take chances with your family's future or your valuable assets. Always be prepared and ensure your family is provided for. Cayman Insurance Center specializes in life, property, motor, health, and liability at the most competitive premiums and affordable rates on island. Call Michael Webster today at 925-5433 for life insurance, or Denise Brown at 814-7229 for property insurance. Call them today for all your insurance needs.
You make me stronger. Oh, come on.
We are Radio Cayman, and this is how we wake you up.
Sing praises unto God, sing praises. Come on, sing praises unto God, sing praises. Hallelujah. Lord, I thank you for sunshine, thank you for rain, thank you for joy, thank you for pain. It's a beautiful day.
Praise time on Radio Cayman.
Praising me down, yeah. Praise the healer, praise the healer. Jumping, he's my provider. Are you ready? Here we go. Set. I feel like running, skipping, running. Hey, let's skip it.
Praise time.
Give me Jesus in the morning. I will. So send me, Lord. I will go.
Weekday mornings from 6 until 6:30.
Welcome back to the Business Buzz, the business topics that matter, an insightful and fresh take on a variety of issues that impact the local business environment.
Cayman's Business Buzz.
Welcome back to the Business Buzz. Good morning, Cayman. We're speaking to representatives, actually the director, founder, and business manager of Caribbean Filtration, and that is Mr. Alex Dilbert and Miss Diana Dilbert. This continuing on with the conversation, when you're interested, people are hearing about your filters or have already used your products already. What is it like, and what is the delivery time once orders are made? What is the preferred way for the order process?
Yeah, so we have a very user-friendly website that we created.
Excellent.
Where customers can actually go log in and create their own account with the details and place an order. And what's great, because the filter sizes remain the same.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if you're a residential property or commercial business office, you can enter all your sizes, and then each time you want to reorder your filters, you can simply go back on the website and repeat your order.
So it's like a memory there. You don't have to worry about what sizes.
That's correct. And these days people have very, very busy lifestyles, and it's really hard to remember.
Yes.
Even, I don't know, taking your dog for a vet appointment or taking your child for someone's birthday. So what we did, we made it very user-friendly, where you can have a reminder. You can select. So, for example, every 3 months, as we recommend, to change your filters. Mm-hmm. You receive an email a week in advance to repeat your order. We'll process the order. We're planning to actually add the payment processing system on our website as well. Mm-hmm. And then the filters will be delivered to your door the next day.
So you set up your profile when you go on. You have to register, correct?
It's very, very simple and straightforward. It's just name your address and the filter sizes.
And most important, the website is called caribbeanfiltration.com.
Okay.
So if you go onto that, that's where you'll find all that information.
Who's your target audience? Are you looking more residential, or it's a mixture between residential and commercial?
Well, actually, we target both, but we started with the commercial because, as we mentioned, our commercial clients, the facility managers, they brought to our attention the fact that they have to order filters a year in advance. So, for example, big commercial properties like Kamana Bay or the Kimpton Hotel, and they have to store the filters in their own facilities. And our island is small as it is, so it takes a lot of space. So we're trying to solve that issue, and we provide the filters on demand. So they obviously we focus on the commercial clients, and now we're branching into the residential clients. But we can facilitate any customer on island.
Well, we don't want to forget our sister islands, the BRAC. They got air conditions too, you know.
Oh, I know, definitely. I have to consider that as well for sure. We're branching out there. We're probably in the next a month or so we'll have our filters out there for sure. But with the BRAC being mentioned right now, I do want to mention that our family owns the Alexander Hotel. And we are reopening that hotel up.
Congratulations. I wish I had a drum roll or clap.
So, yeah, we kept it in our name, the family name. We are at the stage where we had everything, all the inspections passed with flying colors. We're just actually waiting for the tourism board this morning to meet to give us our license.
Yes.
So, yes, we're definitely...
And I hope it's outfitted with filters.
Oh, yes, for sure.
Which means filters will be over there as well.
And my brother's rum, too. A lot of that,
Okay, excellent. Now, share with us some details. Keep hearing Eco House. And tell us more a little bit more about Eco House.
So, Eco House was formed about 6 years ago. And I came in with the idea that I want to try to do everything eco-friendly. I decided to start with air conditioning. Everything's been going great. Business has been growing significantly. And as time goes by, I'm going to introduce more and more eco-friendly services to my company. Everything from solar panels to geothermal, filtration. They all come hand in hand with each other. And I also do spray foaming as well, which is a big part of my company as well. So that's when we spray foam the inside layer of your roof to keep the heat from coming in, and also the walls as well. So we have a variety of different products for that as well. But yeah, it's just the world is just getting more and more efficient. So I want to keep on top of these markets as time goes by.
Alex, very proud of you and your team over there.
Thank you.
What would you, moving forward, what can we expect from your company? And I'll actually add an S onto that, companies, in the future.
What do you think?
Yeah, well, Eco House and Caribbean Filtration, our sister companies, and as Alex mentioned, we just invested into Alexander Hotel, so I think our hands full for this year.
Plus with the young one.
That's true,
little
little
one.
baby. But obviously we're working as a team, being husband and wife, which is great. And we're looking to adding probably solar panels and other eco-friendly products. We are very pleased to hear that island is growing, the industry is growing, and there's more and more people that are moving to this island. And we just looking to keep everything local and eco-friendly, and just basically to cater the needs of people, whatever is necessary.
And to add to that too, I always believed in training our younger Caymanian youth.
Excellent.
And this Caribbean filtration is a perfect way for a lot of young people with very little experience in air conditioning to get their foot into the door to tap into this industry, air conditioning. And I'll be more than happy. Right now we have majority, I would say at least 75% of our Caribbean filtration is Caymanians.
Congratulations.
And we are in the process of training them. If they want to further their career, they have different outlets from filtration or from air conditioning to spray foaming, and hopefully in the future when we introduce new services, they'll have access to that
as well. What is it like working together as a couple? I noticed the big inhale.
Well, I think I can speak for both of us, right?
You know, I
want to hear his side.
Okay.
Yeah, There's some tension sometimes here and there, but majority of the time she definitely fills in my weaknesses. I'm not an organized person, so she is very good with organization, and it's great to have a partner working for you because it's very hard to find people that are passionate as much as you are. And so my wife definitely helped me. I couldn't get here where I'm at right now without my wife. She's been a big push in my life, so definitely.
Now let's hear the fluffier side.
No, so I moved to Cayman from London, right?
Yes.
And I used to work for venture capital firms, so I know the industry really well. But Alex is generally very, very sincere person, so it's very easy to work with him. He's very honest and straightforward.
And the whole mechanism of setting up the business, was that a bit challenging? Was there at any juncture where you're like, oh my God, I think we got it into over our heads?
Well, I think actually going back to the same question, because I work for venture capital firms, I know what it takes to start a business.
Yes.
Alex is extremely knowledgeable person. So he took 2.5 years to go to every trade show possible, to explore every, companies out there that makes from material to equipment to build this company as advanced as it is. So I trust him in that area, and I take over the sales and website development and all that part of the business. I think together we work great as a team because we have different set of skills and we actually complement each other.
Which is the secret recipe, definitely.
Yeah.
What is the best, sorry.
I was going to actually add you, the great thing is that Caribbean Filtration actually was built on EcoHouse.
Exactly.
So it's 100% built on EcoHouse. So the business actually grew significantly, that we took the percentage of the profits and just inject into the new business. So we're keeping everything going. So,
and of course you're going to be building even more on that as the future as it goes by, and the demand of your clientele and customers. But what is the best way to keep up to date with Caribbean Filtration, or even get in contact with you?
Well, we have our website, which is caribbeanfiltration.com, which includes our contact details, and as said, customers can create their profile. We also have a Facebook page, which is at Caribbean Filtration hashtag. You can always follow us. You can always give us a call on the phone number 947-1234. And we're based in 69 Webb Road, where customers are welcome to visit us at our offices. We do delivery, and we prefer to deliver to customers' house, but...
And hopefully in the future, I mean, I'm not the strongest in this field, as you can tell, but I am... I'm probably going to do some more, advertising, maybe some YouTube channels and stuff, blogs, to try to keep people up to date on what's new out there. So I'll definitely try to do that more.
Educate the customers. Yes. Maybe we'll make some fun, entertaining videos.
Yes, exactly.
But it's great. But the only thing, for example, I didn't know before I started working with Alex and the air conditioning company, that the air that circulates in your room doesn't actually come from outside. It's the same air that stays within the room. So, for example, if you don't change your filters, basically breathing the same air. And people are so cautious about washing their hands and not touching certain things, but they don't realize that the airborne infections are the most common.
Right.
So this was the crucial thing. Alex always tells me off because I like to open the windows in our house, and obviously he's the advocate for efficiency. So, I'm not allowed to do that, but obviously we have great filters. The filters and collects all the airborne bacteria. But I think this is crucial. I think what I want to, if people just remember one thing from this interview, please remember that the air that you breathe every single day is extremely important for your health and the health of your children. And the filters is the only way you can actually filter the air, within your facilities or your room or your home, and it's extremely important because the air does not come from outside; it actually circulates inside.
Yeah, and like I said, there are different types of filters out there. There are washable ones, which I don't agree with too much. I mean, it does keep dirt from gathering on your AC unit, but I think pleated air filters, they're disposable, they're not that expensive, and we want to make it very simple for people to remember to change their filters. Even if you have if you're a senior citizen or you're ordering filters for your grandmother or your grandfather, we have services that can change the filters for them if they can't go up and down a ladder, or if you're too scared about going into the attic and changing things. And we're here to assist you with that as well through our other company, EcoHouse.
And you're not specialized in any one particular brand. You'll do all air conditioning servicing, or is there a specific line?
No, we do everything from mini splits to central to variables, multi-zone systems. We do it all.
Okay.
So yeah, that's not a problem at all.
Yeah, well, EcoHouse is a representative of Samsung brand.
Okay.
Which is our,
our main product, which is a VRF multi-zone system, which is again a product that is growing significantly. So yeah, we definitely are knowledgeable when it comes to the high-tech AC equipment, even to the simplest one.
Okay. It has been nice speaking to you, Alex, and Miss Diana. All the best to you and success in your continued growth and great things coming for the BRAC.
Yes, thank you so much for having us. And hopefully the next week or two we'll have the hotel up and running.
Definitely.
So definitely start booking.
More than happy to have you back as well.
Exactly.
To see what that is right here on the Business Buzz.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. We've been speaking with our guest, Mr. Alex Dilbert, founder and director of Caribbean Filtration, and business manager, Miss Deanna Dilbert. And stay tuned to Radio Cayman for more of the Business Buzz after the 8 o'clock news and weather update, when we'll put the spotlight and hear more about Cayman Spaces.
Thank you, Sabrina, and thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Dilbert. Studio time now by Foster's is 2 minutes.
You journey through 2020, we challenge you to live to eat and look at food differently. Look at the cultural side, the side that demands respect, and the fun side. Food is more than nourishment. It bridges gaps and sends a message of love and acceptance, and coincidentally tastes great doing it too. Food has the power to inspire and connect us with people and places we never thought we'd experience. So, look at food differently. You won't be disappointed. At Foster's, we live to eat.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by Value Med Pharmacy, with 2 locations to serve you, Walkers Road in Georgetown and an Evron Plaza, Boddentown. Visit Value Med, more than just a pharmacy. Value Med Pharmacy is your community care partner for health and wellness needs. We offer convenient prescription processing at the counter and online at value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com, with pickup available at the Walkers Road or Boddentown location. We also accept transfer prescriptions from other pharmacies. More than just a pharmacy, shop Value Med for personal care and beauty products from trusted brands, perfume and gift sets, Hallmark and greeting cards, baby clothes, footwear, handbags, swimwear, home decor, toys, school supplies, and stationery. And home convalescence aids like wheelchairs, walkers, crutches, canes, and hospital beds. With 2 locations to serve you, Walkers Road in Georgetown and an Evron Plaza, Boddentown. Visit Value Med, more than just a pharmacy.
Your voice, your choice for today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Island.
With your latest news, I'm Karsley Fuller. Spare an evening to learn about Cayman's coral health next week, as the Central Caribbean Marine Institute hosts the first in a series of lectures planned for 2020.
The 2020 We Need Healthy Reefs message will have greater emphasis on why healthy coral reefs are critical to the well-being of the oceans and the Cayman Islands.
CCMI's Robin Larkin tells Radio Cayman the first event hosted by CCMI will be part of the 2020 Reef Lecture Series. It will showcase work that comes out of the Little Cayman Research Center by CCMI scientists and collaborators. The first lecture will be presented by Dr. Anya Brown, collaborative scientist from the University of Florida, on the topic Coral Health from Microbes to Branches.
Healthy corals are critical for sustaining reefs. Corals are in a tightly coupled relationship between bacteria, like in your gut, microscopic algae, and the coral animal itself.
Members of the public are being encouraged to participate in the upcoming events and activities, many of which are free, in order to enhance their knowledge about coral reefs and their importance as a marine ecosystem. This upcoming free lecture starts at 5:45 p.m. on Tuesday, January 21st at the National Gallery's Dart Auditorium. You can register online at reefresearch.org. Almost $70,000 is raised to help Australian bushfire efforts at Royal Palms after they host a recent raffle. Restaurant manager Dean McGlynn says it was a big success.
The event went much better than expected. Initially, we were hoping to raise $10,000 US. With raffle tickets, we sold $44,700 US. And then on top of that, us at Royal Palms have donated $25,000 from the bar. The grand total raised was $69,727, which in Australian dollars is $100,000. So we crushed all goals.
More than 2,000 firefighters are continuing to battle the blaze. In regional news, recording artist Shaquille Clark, popularly called Kara, has been arrested and charged with murder and arson. Clark, accompanied by his lawyer, surrendered to the police this week. He had been declared a suspect in the 2019 mob killing of Sterling Castle resident Miguel Williams. Residents had accused Williams of being responsible for the rape and slaying of an 8-year-old girl whose decomposing body was found in bushes in Sterling Castle days after she went missing. The recording artist is the second person arrested and charged in relation to the murder of Williams. In December, 30-year-old Andrew Brayclift of Sterling Castle Heights address was also accosted. A date has not yet been set for the entertainer to appear in court. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News with Jerry Smith. Hong Kong's leader Carrie Lam has said the territory could maintain its current autonomy after it's due to expire in 2047. It's not clear whether her rare remarks on the subject were approved by Beijing, which will ultimately decide Hong Kong's future. Mrs. Lam said she saw no reason why the current arrangement couldn't continue. A new UN report says millions of children in Syria are continuing to face dire conditions nearly 9 years after the war there began. Human rights investigators say boys as young as 12 have been tortured. Iran's President Hassan Rouhani says his country is now enriching more uranium than it did before it signed the international nuclear deal. The accord was meant to curb Iran's nuclear program, but it said it will no longer abide by the restrictions on enrichment. The German government has reached an agreement with regional administrations on how to wean the country off coal by 2038. Some regions will get more than $40 billion to reconfigure economies that rely heavily on mining. The German parliament has rejected a bill to make all citizens potential organ donors, opting instead for new measures aimed at persuading people to sign up. Germans applying for official papers will be asked if they want to become donors. Egypt, Ethiopia and Sudan have reached an initial deal aimed at ending a diplomatic crisis over Africa's biggest hydroelectric dam. The three countries agreed that the dam should be filled in stages during the rainy season, and Ethiopia is to take into account the impact downstream. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by Value Med Pharmacy, with 2 locations to serve you, Walkers Road in Georgetown and an Evron Plaza, Boddentown. Visit Value Med, more than just a pharmacy. Value Med Pharmacy is your community care partner for health and wellness needs. We offer convenient prescription processing at the counter and online at value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com, with pickup available at the Walkers Road or Boddentown location. We also accept transfer prescriptions from other pharmacies. More than just a pharmacy, shop Value Med for personal care and beauty products from trusted brands, perfume and gift sets, Hallmark and greeting cards, baby clothes, footwear, handbags, swimwear, home decor, toys, school supplies, and stationery. And home convalescence aids like wheelchairs, walkers, crutches, canes, and hospital beds. With 2 locations to serve you, Walkers Road in Georgetown and in Evron Plaza, Boddentown. Visit Value Med, more than just a pharmacy.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
The Cayman Islands Seafarers Association would like to inform all members that there will be a general meeting on Tuesday, January 21st at 7:30 p.m. in the Seafarers Hall, 11 Victory Avenue, Prospect. Nominations are also now being held for the 2020-2021 Council. Transportation for the meeting will be provided as always, and there will be 3 buses from West Bay Town Hall leaving at 6 p.m. The Barnes bus route in Georgetown leaves the public library parking area at 6:45, stopping at Cayman Compass Building and the Airport Fosters. The bus marked Bobo $1 public transport and is blue in color will do pickups from British Caymanian, Uncle Bill's, Walker's Road, Shedden Road, and Crew Road. The bus from East End pickups are from the school parking, the gas station, and wreck of the 10 Sails starting at 5:45. North side pickups are from Chisholm Store and the soccer field starting at 6:15. Bodden Town pickups will be from Lorna's gas station at 6:45. Savannah pickups from the gas station next to Wendy's at 7.
The Weather Report is proudly sponsored by Super Stitch Sewing and Fabric Center, your one-stop household store at 39 Pasador Place, Smith Road. Still offering the best prices in town. Call 949-2833 or go to superstitch.com.ky.
New stock has just arrived at Super Stitch. Now don't take my word for it, drop by and see for yourself. Fresh off the boat, we have loads of fabric, vinyl upholstery fabric, fabric for cushions, outdoor fabrics, and dress fabric. That's not all. Super Stitch has sewing accessories and craft items. Included in the new shipment, you will find sheets, comforters, throw pillows, bath mats, rugs, and curtains for every room in your home. Super Stitch, 39 Pasador Place, Smith Road. Still offering the best price in town. Call 949-2833 or go to superstitch.com.ky.
Good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 80 degrees. Relative humidity is 82%. Barometric pressure is 30.07 inches and rising. The wind is out of the northeast at 14 knots, and the overnight low temperature was 77 degrees. Synopsis indicate fresh easterly winds and rough seas continue as a high-pressure system over the western Atlantic Ocean and a tight pressure gradient across the northwest Caribbean lingers. Radar images show isolated showers over the Cayman area, which are moving towards the west-southwest. Now the forecast for today, calling for partly cloudy skies with a 20% chance of morning showers, and temperatures will be in the mid-80s. Your winds will be east to northeast at 15 to 20 knots with higher gusts. Seas will be rough with wave heights of 5 to 7 feet. Small craft warning remains in effect. And the forecast for tonight, calling for pretty much the same, partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers and temperatures dipping to the mid-70s tonight. Winds will be east to northeast 15 to 20 knots with higher gusts, and seas will be rough with wave heights of 6 to 8 feet, especially along the south and east coast. Low tide will be this morning at 8:22, high tide this afternoon at 2:22, and a low tide again tonight at 9:25. Sunset 6:07, sunrise 3 minutes after 7, and the outlook is calling for similar weather conditions through Saturday morning.
Super Stitch Sewing and Fabric Center was the proud sponsor of the Weather Report, your one-stop shop for all of your household items, craft items, jewelry, beads, and decorations, and much more. Call Super Stitch at 949-2833 or email customer care at superstitch.com.ky.
New stock has just arrived at Super Stitch. Now don't take my word for it, drop by and see for yourself. Fresh off the boat, we have loads of fabric, vinyl upholstery fabric, fabric for cushions, outdoor fabrics, and dress fabric. That's not all. Super Stitch has sewing accessories and craft items. Included in the new shipment, you will find sheets, comforters, throw pillows, bath mats, rugs, and curtains for every room in your home. Super Stitch, 39 Pasador Place, Smith Road. Still offering the best price in town. Call 949-2833 or go to superstitch.com.ky.
At Kirk's Home Center, we can make your life much better. We got it all together. We got a great deal in store for you. From cookware to stereos, from power tools to plumbing supplies. Yeah, we got the best goods with the best price and a service to make you smile. At Kirk's Home Center, we got a great deal in store for you.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Good morning once again. Let's take a look at traffic. Traffic is busy coming from the east, and just to remind you, roadworks will be taking place on the Shamrock Road in the vicinity of the Chrissy Tomlinson roundabout beginning today, the 16th of January. In order to facilitate these works, Shamrock Road between Mahogany Drive and the Chrissy Tomlinson roundabout will be closed to eastbound traffic daily from 9 a.m. until 2 p.m. beginning today. The roadworks are expected to last 7 days through Wednesday, the 22nd of January. Motorists are being advised to exercise caution when traveling in this area during these times. Let's look at what's happening from the west before we start. Moderate flow of traffic, and traffic is steady on Crew Road, and light traffic on Eastern Avenue and Godfrey Nixon Way, and the same for Shedden Road. And looking towards the West Bay Road in the vicinity of the Ritz-Carlton, traffic moving on moderately heading to Georgetown, and light to moderate traffic flow coming from Georgetown heading to West Bay. And Edward Street, traffic moving along moderately. And on North Sound Road, moderate flow of traffic. That's the very latest on your traffic. Join us again at about 10 minutes after 12. We'll give you another look at traffic. Have a good morning and buckle up.
Do you ever have those days when you have to get a super early start, or you're out late and want something fresh and healthy to eat? Subway has now opened their 4th 24-hour location for you early birds and night owls. Subway at West Shore Center on 7 Mile is now open 24 hours. So now you can grab any of Subway's fresh menu items any time of the day at 4 convenient locations. West Shore Center 7 Mile, Countryside in Savannah, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers West Bay. Subway. Eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Welcome back to the Business Buzz, the business topics that matter, an insightful and fresh take on a variety of issues that impact the local business environment.
Business Buzz.
Good morning and welcome back to Radio Cayman's Business Buzz as we continue in the second segment right here on Radio Cayman. I am joined on this show by Ms. April Cummings of Cayman Life TV and Coldwell Banker as we learn more about Cayman Spaces, and we'll also touch a little bit even on real estate Cayman Islands. It's a pleasure. It's weird to be on the other side.
It is. And for those of you that are, in the interest of full disclosure, I am also the news director at Radio Can, which I absolutely love. Mm-hmm. But it turns out I absolutely love a lot of things and love to keep busy learning and growing and doing all kinds of fun things.
And I'm learning that just off mic. So, April, without further ado, what is Cayman Spaces and what is the primary, focus of the company?
I was afraid you'd ask me the word focus, but in reality, when I spent a number of years in the U.S., I am Caymanian, I grew up here, but I did a lot of my professional broadcast media work in the U.S. Uh-huh. I consider it the longest college education in history because I was there for maybe 12 years. But I always had an interest in video production, new technology, mm-hmm. and I really loved homes and properties. Okay. So hard news traditionally is not the place where you're going to spend a whole bunch of time talking about the real estate industry and homes. But I did find myself often gravitating toward covering those mm-hmm. sorts of issues, both up there but also when I came home.
Right.
It's such an interesting industry to watch the trends in. I also have a particular interest in seeing what kinds of properties are developed, mm-hmm. who buys them, who sells them. So I've always had an interest in it, and I, to be honest, subconsciously was probably looking for a way all along to sort of merge the skills and the talents together. Mm-hmm. But I couldn't quite figure out how to do that until pretty recently, in fact.
Well, congratulations for your finding your way.
Yeah, so Cayman Spaces, I would say, is kind of an umbrella for me.
Okay.
It was started as a multimedia marketing production company. And one of the goals was to do things like showcase properties and developments with video. But we have so many more tools today that that's kind of expanded.
So elaborate more on the main services that are being offered through Cayman Spaces.
So as you know, I'm also a sales agent at Coldwell Banker, Cayman Islands Realty. And it's kind of a collaboration. Okay. So in one respect, I'm a traditional, agent. I list properties, I market them, promote them, I connect buyers, do showings, walkthroughs, the whole spiel. But from the Cayman Spaces side of things, the emphasis is more really on creative marketing options. Now, I have learned that the best component of marketing is not technology and tools. The nerd in me is like, really? It's actually about people and connections and relationships.
Right.
So I think we have to put that up front, that actually turned out to be the most important component. But in terms of actual services, we do things like we will take stills and video of your property, do video walkthroughs, really try to showcase it in the best fashion possible, advise people on how to improve.
And stage. Yeah.
And I mean, and by the way, don't look at my house because all of the energy has gone into everyone else's and not my own. I'm still looking at my own blank yard going, But I think utilizing video is a great way to showcase the features of a home and help people kind of envision what it might be like for them.
Right.
And I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but we've just acquired some new equipment that I think is going to make for some really nice, kind of a fresh way of doing these videos, which soon to come. I have a website. I actually have now merged them to kind of all point in one direction.
Right.
Cayman Life TV, as I originally called it, was sort of a passion project, labor of love for me. It's a community access channel. We don't really sell traditional advertising. I'm sure we could, but that's never been the point.
Right.
It's really just been a home for content. And in our collaboration with Caldwell Banker, what we started to do is to promote property listings on there as well.
Okay.
So you'll see everything from a kids concert to a speech from a politician to Classroom of the Month, which we'll mention in a bit, and properties for sale and information snippets and bits. So essentially, we've just tried to kind of bring everything together. One of my favorite tools has been live streaming. And I haven't used it quite yet in real estate, but that is coming because we have some ideas for utilizing sort of that one-to-many approach to just make it easier for people to get an idea of what a place looks and feels like.
Based on popular demand, what types of productions are you seeing clients requesting most?
I think that most people start out looking for what I would say is almost a commercial.
Okay.
And I often discourage that, and people say, well, why would you do that? And I said, well, think of it this way. It's more interesting to hear a story than it is to hear an ad. So whether the story is the story of the home that's for sale, whether it's the story of what makes your business unique, what makes your community unique, that is where I kind of encourage people to go.
Okay.
And we're not a good fit for everyone because of that. If you want a traditional ad, there are some great people in this market, and I will send you straight to them. But I have learned that it's better for me to focus, and us, I should say, to focus on doing the kind of work we are best at.
Right.
And truly that is telling stories.
And definitely you do it well. I've seen some of those videos. So let's talk about the latest when it comes to showing properties through videos. How are businesses in Cayman embracing it? Because it's fairly new to the market. It's like you're getting these virtual tours.
I think that one of the challenges of Cayman's sort of real estate industry is that you do have these amazing, experienced, old school folks who have all the knowledge. They do not need the virtual tour.
I know who that was. I was born there.
You don't need that. They tell you everything about it. But then you also have this new generation of people who really do understand that the next generations of buyers, they're on their phones. They want to see the Instagram story. They want to, have the VR pop up that shows them with their headset so they can look around everything. But I think that sometimes the new and I'm older than I look, but feel younger than my age. And I am a bit of a nerd. So I'm always exploring new technologies and new ideas.
Right.
But I think that it's important not to get distracted by those and remember that the core principles stay the same.
Right.
You really have to know your business. And when you don't know something, go find out. You have to really work with a degree of honor. And it reminds me a lot of journalism. The temptation is to be splashy sometimes and sell the headline. But in reality, that's just a letdown for someone at the end of the day.
That's true.
So if you want to have credibility, you have to really build trust and be honest about what you know, be honest about what you don't know and go find answers,
Mm-hmm.
and take advantage of the amazing resources in the Cayman community. And that's not just the amazing Sariba database or the
Yes.
other brokers and agents, but it's also the people of the community
Exactly.
here.
Neighbors and friends. Yes.
Listen, wealth of information.
It's true. Now we're talking about technology. How flexible are you in embracing new technology to diversify your services that you're providing, to build on that?
Left to myself, I never met a new app or a new piece of technology that didn't interest and intrigue me.
Okay.
I think you have to be aware of what's out there, but you also have to know when it's not applicable to your market. It doesn't mean
Fair.
it won't be applicable to the industry
Yes.
elsewhere, but it has to make sense here in this context. Now, our market is changing. We have multiple populations of people from different countries
Yes.
coming in with different expectations and needs. So I do think we're in a period, as things are growing so quickly, of getting to know who our market is becoming, and then adapting what we do to match that. But there's a balance. So you have to spend some time on research, sometime experimenting a little bit, and sometimes putting all that to the side and stepping back and talking to people and finding out what's the best way for me to reach you. How do you like to be communicated with? Are you a visual person? Would you
Right.
rather have spreadsheets? Do you really want me to get the VR headset thing? Or would you rather we just went and walked through the property?
Right.
But with a lot of people I've dealt with who are overseas buyers, using those tools makes it it saves a bunch of time, Sabrina. It's a bunch of time for them because you don't want to waste time showing them properties that they're not going to be interested in. So you can narrow that process down. Locally, though, I still think in person works best.
Yes.
People love to see the picture on the phone,
but
they really want to get in there and look at the walls themselves and the ground and the property.
Well, you can understand that because they will understand the area better versus somebody who's just making an investment and coming new to our shores.
And I talk a lot about the visual technology, but those are not the only tools. There are a lot of database-driven, I sound so boring when I say database-driven, but there are a lot of tools and software and services of software, they call them platforms, that can make you a lot more efficient in your work. So, you see me with my notebooks. I have the one notebook that's just to write random ideas and notes. And then I have what's it called, my full focus planner, where I pick my big 3 and I write all my things down. But I also have a mirrored system online that reminds me you have a showing. It also reminds me you need to be here at this time, and don't forget to tell so-and-so such and such. So when we talk about technology, it's not just about taking pictures and presenting information from that marketing standpoint. It's really also about managing your relationships with your clients. And in some cases, your family and your multiple jobs.
Exactly.
We're entrepreneurs in Cayman.
It's
It
true.
kind of runs through our veins.
That's
but we
right.
need to keep track of it all.
Of course. And again, it's all about a balance.
Or at least trying for it.
At least try. You're in tune to Radio Cayman's Business Buzz as we put the spotlight and focus more and hear more from Cayman Spaces. I'm speaking with Miss April Cummings of Cayman Live TV and also Sales Associate of Coldwell Banker. After these few messages, we'll be right back understanding the processes. If you want to request our services, what does it take? Then we'll get an idea of the current real estate market. Even hear a little bit about Sariba. Keep it locked to the Business Buzz for more after these few messages.
Cayman Medical Supplies, now providing Cayman Brac with medical supplies. Call 949-6211. And Cayman Medical Supplies will arrange to ship from wheelchairs and walkers to all kinds of medical supplies. Your order will be shipped to you either by Cayman Airways or Thompson Shipping for one agreed upon price. Telephone 949-6211. Cayman Medical Supplies, located at number 93 Smith Road, Windward Center, providing quality pharmaceuticals, medical supplies, and consumer products to healthcare providers, retailers, and ultimately the patients at a reasonable rate in a friendly, caring, and timely manner.
Don't take chances with your family's future or your valuable assets. Always be prepared and ensure your family is provided for. Cayman Insurance Center specializes in life, property, motor, health, and liability at the most competitive premiums and affordable rates on island. Call Michael Webster today at 925-5433 for life insurance or Denise Brown at 814-7229 for property insurance. Call them today for all your insurance needs.
Welcome back to the Business Buzz, the business topics that matter, an insightful and fresh take on a variety of issues that impact the local business environment.
Cayman's Business Buzz.
Welcome back to the Business Buzz as we continue with the second segment of today's show. I'm pleased to have joining me in studio on the other side of the mics, Ms. April Cummings of Cayman Life TV and Coldwell Banker, telling us more and we're understanding about the trends of real estate and hearing more of what services is being provided through Cayman Life TV. Now, when clients are requesting your services, hearing about all the videos and all the great things if you're about to list a property, what is the process like to get started?
So it depends on which side you're approaching from. If you are a seller and you want me to list your property, it really starts with a conversation. I do a little bit of work once I know what the property is. So I do a bit of due diligence on my own, just to really get an understanding of the property, the neighborhood, any history around it. I'm still going to ask you the very same questions, but I feel a little bit more prepared when I kind of come into the conversation with a sense of what it is that we're talking about, maybe looking at prior values in and around. But every property really is unique. Yeah. And that is actually one of the hardest bits. So back in the old days, I'm pretty sure I didn't think real estate agents worked that hard. I'm really sorry. I take that back.
Take it back.
Take it back. Because you really do have to spend some time especially when you're doing comparisons, you want to find something as close to that property as possible, particularly if the person is going to get a mortgage. Yes. And this is where there's a bit of, I would call it a discrepancy of sorts in the market. So we have to have this conversation. But when the buyers come along, if the property is priced too high for them to be able to get enough of a mortgage or to cover it, then you may have priced it too high. Right. At least for that target audience or target market. So the pricing is really important, and the valuations that the banks hire people to do are often, usually, always connected to the last sales of similar properties. So you need to really have a sense of what that is so that you're realistic. Right. I'm not saying that you may not choose to list your property at a higher price than that. You sure can, but you have to be aware that A, it's going to take longer to sell.
Exactly.
You know, the best priced property sells pretty quickly. It just does.
And when you look at it, even those who are on the purchasing side, you need to know what you qualify for, unless you're coming in for outright cash sale or cash purchase. You can't go looking at $1 million house if you're only going to qualify for $300,000. It's not making sense.
And I think you need to be prepared in a way that I wasn't when I was a first-time buyer. You need to be prepared to have more cash on hand than you're thinking.
Yes. Closing costs, stamp duty, and even just fixer-uppers.
It's just little things you didn't think of. The deposit for the utilities. There are all kinds of little things that happen in the beginning. Yeah. So, you know, if you come to me as a listing agent, yes, there's a whole process that we go through. I've got about 14 checklists that I've developed over time just to keep us on track and make sure that we're covering all the things that need to be covered. But you, the seller, needs to be aware of what your motivations are too. Okay. So if you want to sell quickly, you react a certain way. You price at a certain point. There's just certain things you do. If you don't mind waiting a longer period of time, then you can price it differently. But you always have to be aware that it ultimately it's about what the customers, the potential buyers, what they'll pay and what they can afford to pay.
What is the current real estate landscape here right now in the Cayman Islands? It seems to be a big thing.
I don't want to be quoted as saying, wow, it's nuts. No, but it kind of is. There is a lot going on. There are, and I think I wrote the number down, there's something like 1,500 properties listed in just Sariba, period. There are over 200 agents just in Sariba. That's a lot of people in a market this size. And there are a lot of properties sort of in development at the moment. So we had a big gap. We had some high-end stuff, and then we had some kind of low-end stuff. But for the influx of people who are coming in, there really wasn't anything in that sort of middle range, and particularly close to private schools in town and the 7 Mile Beach corridor. So we've seen quite a bit of construction, and we're seeing those projects.
Trying to meet the middle market.
Trying to meet that. And I would say maybe middle to upper. It's not really upper, but it's, you know, they're not all $150,000 places. And instead of that traditional 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, we're seeing studios and 1-bedroom, 1-bathrooms. So those are being built right now. So the rental market, I mean, if you've got a great rent, you really need to hang on to it. But I think we're going to see some shifting in that. I think the rents will go down some.
Okay.
As
Because right now it's ridiculous.
It's hard. It's hard. It's expensive. And if you have pets or children, it's really
Worse,
difficult.
yes.
But not impossible. And so I think if you have an understanding, and I've sort of jumped ahead a bit to the idea of there are people who tend to, they're investing in real estate as opposed to purchasing their own home.
Okay.
You think you're going to get rich quick, or I'm going to Airbnb the heck out of this thing.
Yes.
And I think that's only true if you are paying close attention to what the market gaps are
Yes.
and needs. So building a multi-unit complex, but that won't have pets or kids. That's great for that segment, but who is going to serve the others?
Yes.
And I think that's where the clever investor will find the right niche to fill. Not all of us, though, are meant to invest in property. Some of us are meant to buy homes.
Right. You're quite right.
Share
some background details on Coldwell Banker Cayman Islands Realty.
So J.C. Calhoun is the founding broker who I've known most of my life. He's been a great friend of our families. And I have to say that there are some great companies in this market. And I love them all. Well, at least all the ones I do love. But there's something about experience that really helps. So I love innovation and creativity and using new techniques to market. But being able to balance that with a company that has, 3-4 decades now of experience and has watched Cayman from the very beginning when its first booms were happening and seeing the ups and downs and the seasons of the market. I think that is one of the biggest values that Coldwell Banker brings to the table. And they do pride themselves on being straight up.
Right.
And we don't always like straight up. Sometimes it's a little
It
tough
hurts,
to hear.
but it's the truth.
But I have never felt that I was being, long before my association with them, felt that I was being guided in the incorrect direction.
Correct.
They were straightforward with me. They told me things like they are. And that's what I like about them today. If you are selling a home and I come in with this brilliant idea that this makes the most sense, they'll look at me and say, that doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
And then I'll have to talk it through. And then sometimes I'm right, but usually they are. So I just think experience helps,
right.
And a true understanding of Cayman and the Cayman market.
Now, let's talk a little bit about the concept of featuring property of the day on social media platforms. What feedback have you gotten on that?
I think it's really great. And different buyers and different potential buyers, they consume their content in different ways. So I feel like something as simple as here's a property that might interest you does not overwhelm the landscape, because you know what it's like. The phone is dinging and there's things flashing and alerts are coming down. It's way too many sometimes. And I got to say, sometimes just seeing that simple, here's a property of the day, here's a moment in Cayman. I'm telling you, when I was not living here, that would have been therapy for me just to see. But it's also a snapshot.
Yes.
It's not necessarily that particular property is the one for you, but it really keeps the idea of purchasing a home top of mind. Or in some cases, improving and selling your own.
Right. Now let's talk about or get some, what tips you could offer, or would you be able to offer on purchasing or even buying real estate here in the Cayman Islands?
So I'm going to go out on the April limb.
Okay.
I think that if we were to learn from my personal lessons, the smartest thing I ever did was in my early 20s was to purchase my first home.
Wow.
It was very, very difficult. I remember borrowing $111.43 from the girl from the then housing development agency. She slipped me until so I could meet the closing payment. It was that tight. It was that tight. But it was the smartest thing I've ever done. Not only did I live in it and love it with my first child, but also when I was overseas, my property, I was able to rent it, and it paid for itself over the years. And I have to say, I didn't plan for it to be an investment. It was the cutest thing I'd ever seen. And I walked in and I felt this sense of peace. And, sometimes the tenants let me go in there and just do that again.
Okay.
We were in there to do it. It was a smart move. I wasn't timing the market. I wasn't trying to invest. I just wanted something of my own for my children for the future. And that's, to me, the best reason to buy real estate.
What advice would you offer to young entrepreneurs just starting out, also school leavers that may be interested in
all this?
Yes.
Okay, well, I would say what I should have done and what I have seen since is, particularly if you're kind of the artistic personality or the creative type, you sometimes don't sit down and do the practical work with the numbers because they're just not as beautiful as painting or shooting video or storytelling. But in truth, it's important to have that grounded. It's important to say, here's where I really am today, and here's where I'd like to be in the future. Even if all you did as a young person was save $10 a month, $15 a month, $20 a month, looking back, I'm certain I didn't see the other side of 50 in my head.
Right.
But those $10 and $15 and $25 certainly added up, and there was compound interest over the years. And those sums of money are the things that give you the freedom to buy a home or invest in a piece of land and build your duplex or whatever it is that you ultimately want. Create things that can give you positive cash flow, but also give you the peace of mind to also maybe explore some of the other creative things that you'd like to do. So I used to think that this was all for the business-focused money folks, but it's not. I think we all could benefit from having sort of a solid financial education. And starting really early, I think, helps, because you want to develop a habit of, I don't always have to buy all the new things right away.
Yes.
I might buy one of the new
or
things.
Want it now. Everything has to be now.
And when I got into debt post-college, one of the saving graces, and that's kind of funny, was I read Dave Ramsey's book, Financial Peace. And I still have it. It's all yellow, and there's a worksheet, and you can see where I wrote down what my rent was and all the bills that I was paying at the time. That book transformed the way I saw money and thought about money. And it made it possible for me not only to stop getting into debt to do things, I started saving forward for things. Now, I fall off the wagon periodically, and I have multiple times.
Right.
But I get back on because it is better to have access to resources to benefit your family's future than it is to buy that sunglasses that I really, really liked.
Well, it's all, again, subduing the ego and just looking and being practical. But there's another thing of not only understanding money, but understanding how, don't put your hat higher than you can reach. And that's something that I think we just look at. And we need to now, with hearing about foreclosures, understanding what's my numbers. Go and speak with the loans officer before going and looking at the property and getting attached. And can you afford it?
And I think even take it a step deeper, because sometimes when I'm in the market for something, I want to see the rosiest picture of those numbers possible.
Yes.
And so sometimes you have to put yourself almost the other side, because instead of you having $3,000, maybe it's better if you hung around until you had $6,000.
Yes.
Now, we will always sometimes wish we acted faster on something, but in truth, it likely wasn't the right time.
Or it wasn't for you.
Yeah. And I love my 7-mile beach condo that I don't have. They're lovely and they're beautiful, but they are beyond
what you can reach.
And actually what's reasonable for my family and my circumstances. And I'm okay with that. I think it's investing in property is really about buying stuff you love that will benefit you and your family.
Long term.
It's an investment in the long game, not just the short one.
I'm quite sure some people out there who are in the middle of things will say, investment, this is no liability, because I'm having a hard time keeping up with upkeep, life insurance, home insurance, and fighting the banks with capitalized interest on top of making the monthly payments.
I felt it. But then I looked back and I had somehow paid off an entire mortgage. Time changes perspective. And I did make sacrifices. And looking back, I probably could have made a few more.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest thing is to get a good sense of where you are. If you want something, that's great. But make sure that it's something that will fit within your means. And I think if you overextend yourself, there is a price to be paid for that. It may not be foreclosure, but it may mean working
You have
longer
to-
and harder and giving up
scale
other
back
things.
on going out for dinner and certain
And
events.
the
You just-
brunches.
yeah,
that's the whole
definitely.
stuff.
You're in tune to Radio Cayman's Business Buzz as we put the spotlight and hear more from Miss April Cummings of Cayman Life TV and Coldwell Banker, hearing more about Cayman Spaces. We'll take a little break, and when we come back, we'll get her feedback on what her thoughts are for future real estate and understanding. If you're out there and want to kind of know what it's like and how do you choose the right agent, are there some pitfalls in doing it, or you may have
I'm
it
always gonna
wrong.
be the right agent, but
Yeah, you just don't know. You don't want to step on anybody's toes here. You got to keep it locked for the remedy when we come back.
Country classics.
Well, I was born to coal miner's daughter.
On the road again. They're gonna put me in the movies.
Papa Top again.
Out in the West Texas town of El Paso.
Because you're mine, I walk the line.
Well, I love
Country classics.
young love, first love.
You never count your money when you're sitting at the table.
If you enjoy classic country music, come hang out with Radio Cayman this Saturday, 3:30 to 6 p.m.
In the Mississippi cotton picking Delta town.
This Saturday afternoon, following American Country Countdown, 3:30 to 6 on Radio Cayman.
Just walk on by. Wait on the corner.
Country classics.
In preparation for the Heroes' Day celebrations, the Cayman Islands government is seeking interested food vendors and special event services providers. Businesses wishing to be considered for selection may collect their application package from the Government Administration Building reception or email requests to nationalevents@gov.ky. All applications for food vendors and special event services providers must be submitted no later than 5 p.m. on Friday, January 17th.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
On a daily basis, making it easy to connect with you, our listeners. Add us to WhatsApp today, 925-3261. That's 925-3261.
Radio Cayman.
Send a text or voice note.
Can I send a request, please?
You don't really have to ask us. Just send a request.
This is a shout out to my ex.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
Welcome back to the Business Buzz, the business topics that matter, an insightful and fresh take on a variety of issues that impact the local business environment.
Cayman's Business Buzz.
Welcome back to the Business Buzz, keeping the spotlight on Cayman Spaces with Miss April Cummings of Cayman Life TV and Coldwell Banker. Now, what are your thoughts on future of real estate here?
So, real estate, like the economy, it goes in cycles. And so it is clear that markets go up, markets dip, markets go up. Timing that, however, is not so easy to do. Some individuals I trust in the industry believe that we are not heading for a drop per se, but we're kind of hitting a point where the prices are going to have to adjust a bit over the next 3 or 4 years. But it's much like the stock market, in my view. Is it this Tuesday or next Tuesday? Or is it 5 Tuesdays from now? So I think timing the market is a very difficult thing to do. And in some respects, I've almost said I am very confident about the future of Cayman. I know that with all the gloom and doom from the news side of my life, you would think no. But I'm very optimistic about what I see as the future in Cayman, as long as we continue to work on the areas that need work. Infrastructure, for example. Ensuring that, the education of our youth is addressed so that the Caymanian population doesn't get shut out of the economic equation. These are not political statements from me. These are truly reality. You have to take care of, there have to be enough doctors to serve the population. You need enough support staff for the multi-million-dollar homes. So where are those people going to live if not in those homes? So there's infrastructure issues that constantly need to be examined, discussed, and evaluated. I think incoming Chamber President Woody Foster said unbridled growth. And I think he raises a valid point. You don't want unbridled growth, but you don't want to curb it too much.
Exactly.
So I think it involves constant examination of what's going on. And I think there's always going to be an area, when the markets are going down, for example, that's the time to save cash and start to buy things, you know. It's just how it works. So I just think that if you want property and you can afford property, you should buy property. Okay. If you can't afford property, you should be saving for when you can. And if you're selling, you need to make sure that if you're selling, it's going to be enough for you to do what you need to do with next. But you have to be realistic that because I think my house is worth $1.5 million, it might actually only be worth $450,000, $550,000.
Right.
And you have to accept that that's reality. By the way, because it's my house, in my heart, it's worth much more because I've poured my love into it.
Yes.
But it's really about what people are willing and able to pay.
Things to know as a purchaser when dealing or looking for property. Explain how it works when you're looking on a website, or let's say Cereba or Coldwell website, and you see April as a listing agent, and you call April to look at that particular property. But then you got your eye on something else, but it's then listed by Susan.
And then April is mad.
Do you own me, April?
I don't. I wish I did own you. You know...
How does that work?
We're a little possessive, real estate agents, because it's a commission-based industry. You don't get paid unless you either sell something or sell something. That's just how it is. So the way it works is that listing agents basically have, they market the property for you. They are going to earn a commission on a sale no matter what happens. How much of the commission they earn depends on whether they bring the buyer to the equation. Sabrina called April. April wrote the contract. April happy. April gets both ends of the deal. But if Sabrina goes to Susan and Susan writes the contract, April's still happy because she made money, but not as happy as I would have been if I'd gotten both sides of the deal.
Gotcha.
That said, I should never be upset at Sabrina for working with who Sabrina needs to work with, because ultimately it's about long-term relationships and long-term service value. I still think I'm going to treat Sabrina the best and take good care of her no matter what. But you don't want to be caught in a tug of war between real estate agents. And it is very competitive right now.
Right.
The inventory is getting tighter. The prices are high. It's hard to find. If you list a house for $350,000, I'm telling you, it's probably gone in a month, if that. Offers come in the day it gets posted.
Yes.
So people are wanting to make the money while the money's flowing.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, you have to respect people's right to work with whom they choose to work.
Understood.
Doesn't mean I can't try to convince you, though.
Okay.
But I think it's important people understand how that relationship works.
Thank you for the clarity.
And also, sometimes people don't use conveyance attorneys. It's an extra expense, but I think it's actually quite wise to do so.
Okay.
It expedites everything. Marketing a listing is one thing. Doing the showings, yes, I happily will go down to Lands and Survey and do various aspects of the job, but I think it is really important to secure the people who are quickest, best, and fast at certain aspects. If you're a buyer, you want someone who's going to take the time to explain to you what's actually going on.
Yes.
And help get your questions answered. The agents, in some respects, serve as a bridge between the buyers and sellers. Sometimes if those two people are the ones talking to each other, and it can get pretty tense at times.
Yes.
So we provide a buffer, as well as a translation service at times to make sure that you understand what's happening and what the choices are, and don't get everyone at odds with each other.
Thank you. Now tell us a little bit about your work at Cayman First and the Classroom of the Month initiative.
So we didn't talk much about Cayman Life TV, which I mentioned is kind of a labor of love.
Yes.
It's a cable channel on Logic Channel 33. And I still love video and I still love storytelling. And Cayman First was one of the first partners and sponsors. And they sponsored us to do Classroom of the Month. It is I love the idea that we're not doing an ad for Cayman First. We are showcasing Cayman's youth, their progress, how they're learning, their growth, unique programs that they participate in. I get the goosebumps because every time I think, this is an incredible partnership for me. Someone is paying me to showcase the people that I love, which helps with the bills. But more importantly, I can use the funds to support the channel and to get the word out.
Right.
So it's as strange as it is, the ads are actually about look how great our kids are. And that is fantastic. And, we're happy to do other kinds of collaborations like that. We've had incredible support from entities who are doing conferences. Live streaming turned out to be this sort of amazing find. We will go to your event, your concert, political meetings, and live stream them and put them on the channel. I like the idea that people should have access to as much information as possible to make decisions.
Right.
So I like doing it. But I also love when the kids are doing their Christmas concert and you get to see how cute they are. And so I just think, for me, Cayman Life is a place for us to put all kinds of things about Cayman Life. And, we'll work the money out as it goes. As long as the bills get paid, I'm a happy girl. But I do take advantage of resources from real estate and partnerships on video production to help the channel exist.
Now, how can folks get more information on Cayman Spaces?
So I've directed everything at present to caymanlife.ky. So almost no matter what you type, it's going to end up there. And you will see there are some blog posts about real estate in the community, but there's also a bunch of tabs. It's Cayman, though, so if you want to find April, it's not hard. My email is april@caymanspaces.com. I think I'm april@caymanlife.ky. My number is 326-2961. I am not always good about answering the phone immediately. Sometimes I'm on the air or I'm on a showing or, frankly, picking up my kids from school. That happens too. But text messages, emails, Messenger, I'm happy to do that because then we can arrange a time to talk. And everything starts around a conversation to make sure that we are all on the same page, whether it's about a video, whether you want some advice on what to do with the property. If I can't do something for you, it took me, 50 years to learn to say, I'm not the right person for that. Wow. Let me refer you to somebody who's better. So if you've got this fantastic commercial project, I'm great at the marketing, but I don't know a thing about leasing commercial space. I'll connect you with someone that I trust who's good at it, and I'll support you.
Well, April, any final thoughts?
I have so many final thoughts. No, the most important thing, I think, is you have an opportunity. Cayman, we thought that some of this land was so expensive back in the day.
Wow.
And look at how much it's grown in value, even with dips and up and down. So I just believe it's important to get your piece of the rock if you can. And if you cannot do it right now, plan to. Save for it. Sacrifice a couple of those brunches. Exactly. Not all of them, just a couple.
Excellent words. April, it has been a pleasure. Thank you for sharing with us about Cayman Spaces. And I want to wish you continued success in your what appears happy but busy life.
Thank you, Sabrina. You're a star.
Thank you. Stay tuned for more of Radio Cayman's programming after the 8 o'clock news. And, we want to thank our sponsors, Cayman Medical Supplies. Give them a call, 949-6211. And also Cayman Insurance Center. Celebrating 45 years in the Cayman Islands, specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services. To our producer, Susan, thank you for the stellar job that you continue to do. And you are a loyal viewing and listening audience. Until Tuesday, I'm Sabrina Turner. Have a safe and fabulous Thursday.
Continuing the Caymanian tradition.
Let Cora keep my ground so clean.
The heart and soul of the Cayman people. Thank you for keeping the culture alive.
Let's spread the news every day. From East End to Georgetown, down into West Bay.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.